sit home, get recharged, and go again.
We didn't have a website until right before the pandemic, which is crazy.
And this is very explicit, so stop me if I need to.
Okay, let's go R-rated.
Well, yeah, this is R-rated for sure.
Mean Girls never win.
Mean Girls never win.
Yes.
I remember that song. If you drink, don't drive. Do
the watermelon crawl.
Okay, everybody, this is Michelle with the Beet Goes On Podcast, and this is my very first podcast. And I don't know anyone else in the whole wide world that I'd rather have as my first guest than my little sister, who's not so little anymore. But yeah, she is my inspiration for my company. I own a company called Beettan. It's a sunless tanning company made from beets. The active ingredient comes from the sugar beet. And years ago, my very first time spray tanning was probably on my sister, or the very first spray tan I purchased. And if you hear a baby in the background, that is my niece Elizabeth. So bear with us, but I kind of enjoy it. Anyway, I'll let my sister introduce herself and tell what she does and who she is.
Hey, everybody. My name's Joy, and I've been with Michelle from the very beginning of starting her spray tan business. I went through many different shades of tanning as she experimented on me many times. We had a lot of fun, though. Our goal was to help women feel beautiful without harmful chemicals and streaks and all the oopses that come with learning how to do self-tanning. And so we've had a lot of fun over the years. And
the reason she was my inspiration is she is a redhead, more like strawberry blonde, but fair skin. Our dad, God rest his soul, he was very redhead, and
Yes.
My sister got the red hair. I did not, but we both got the fair skin, and she had several moles and precancerous and skin cancer scares early age. It's like, what was your first one?
15 years old, went in for dermatology appointment, and they took a small sample and said, this has some precancerous cells, so we're going to go ahead and remove this mole. And they saw a few other ones that looked questionable, and I've been going to see a dermatologist regularly ever since. I think the first time, though, that I had one removed was kind of a wake-up call to me that, tanning beds, laying out was not doing me any good. And I really learned to start taking care of my skin better, started being more mindful of the products I was using, and just doing a better job of being aware of what was going on with my skin and being better at taking care of it.
And we're almost 4 years apart, so I saw her dealing with this. And as the older sister, I've always been, either a beat her up or a protected her. Like we definitely had our fights with that age difference, but normal sister fights. But seeing her go through that around the same time, I started spray tanning with a local woman in town, and I introduced my sister to it, and I got really involved with this woman. I wanted to work for her. I wanted to start my own at a city near hers, and my sister legit was there for the entire journey. From then to leading up to now to having my own brand, my own products, it's much better.
Yes.
It's come a very long way. But you definitely went through the trenches with me.
Yes.
How many places would you say that you've had, if you could guess, like any thought, which from then? So I'm 39 and you're 35 now, and I can't do math. And this started when she was 15, but I think it really, for me, it was like around you're 17. At 17 years old, you're like coming into your own as a woman, and
you was a junior and senior year of high school, so
exactly.
You have
Proms,
dances and proms.
Yeah.
And you just want to be pretty.
Yeah, and I wanted to help her feel pretty. And also, I kind of got obsessed with it. Even though I have not had my first place, knock on wood, cut off, I think seeing my younger sister go through that, I was like, heck, I am not doing that. I'm going to learn to do this for both of us and for our family members. We have cousins that most of them get sprayed for, I'm the frou-frou one that always has to be pretty and wear the makeup and stuff. But our cousin, everyone's
Special
pretty
events.
natural in our family, and I'll do them for special events. So it's kind of like rippled off into, into what it is now. Like I'm the trusted, it was not back then. Oh, actually, I don't know that everyone
Trusted you, yeah.
Remember when the whole family came and let me train them with at Barbara's studio? So
that was great.
So yeah, my sister was my inspiration, but we get asked, in fact, people always think I make her up because I talk about her so much, but how long ago did you move to Ohio?
5 years.
So they'll be like, where? And my company kind of blew up about 3 years ago. So they're like, where's the sister you speak of? Because she's been in Ohio. So here she is. She's not made up.
I'm real.
She's real. She really went through these experiences and she was my inspiration. But since then, I've met all these other women with like eczema, psoriasis, all these, skin issues. And what I love about Beettan is it does make you feel good. And that is what I'm going back to with the brand. And it all started with my sister because it really did make us feel good in our own skin as she was going through that journey of, high school, then college, then marriage, then kids. And let's talk about that. So my sister has 6 kids. She has 5 boys and a girl, little Elizabeth. We're going to hear a little bit in the background. But yeah, how long have you and John been married?
I've been married 15 years.
Yes. And so I am the 39-year-old sister who is single with a company. And my sister's a stay-at-home mom. She homeschools. You also run a homeschool group.
Community.
Right. And then tell about what you and your husband do with Target Dayton.
Yeah. So we were a part of, actually, John and I both, we've been huge supporters of Michelle and her business and any way that we could help. He loves to build things and I love to paint things. And anytime that I could step in and help her in any way, we've always been there for her. Up until we moved, and even then we try to support her
when
from
they're
afar.
in town. And in town, he came. Yes. He helped me build a wall recently for the new store, which it fell down because I had a bad idea. But we won't go there.
We have always wanted to support what she is doing because she does love and care about people, and she wants them to feel good in their skin. And so we totally got behind that and have been a part of what she's doing up until we were called from a good friend of ours in Ohio. They run we're all about helping people. Our whole family is actually. Yeah, we just all do it in different ways. So we are part of a ministry for the poor and homeless in Dayton, Ohio. We've been there a little over 5 years, and we serve meals to the poor and homeless. We have church services for them. We try to help them. We give out hygiene kits and we work with the shelters to get people in the programs that they need to get back on their feet. We just wrapped up our Christmas season. We had a Christmas Eve service where we had a little over 500 people. And then we had a Christmas Day service, which is the only Christmas service available on Christmas Day for people during the holidays. And we had a little over 1,700 people attend that.
Wow, it was huge. I saw the photos from it. I wasn't there. And I visited them back in October, was when I came. And I got teary-eyed just because you can really see what a difference they're making in these people's lives. You can tell they really look forward to that community, that love, that acceptance, and then also a meal that they may have not gotten that night. And they do this 4 nights a week. The Target Dayton feeds them
4 day weeks. So
4 day
Tuesday
weeks.
through Friday, they do a breakfast. And they have to come to the service to get the breakfast so that we can not just meet their needs physically, but meet their needs spiritually. A lot of people are hurting. And then we have dinners on Saturday and Sunday where they come to the service and we serve them a nice hot meal. We serve it right to them as if they're eating at a nice restaurant. We treat them as if they are guests coming into our home.
Yes, and I witnessed it myself. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's really touching. And again, it's Target Dayton, Target Dayton, Dayton. It's based out of Dayton, Ohio. I know my sister has plans to do more, giving, worldwide, like where you said you and John's plan is to go to.
We're planning a trip in 5 years to go to Africa. To be a part of a mission group there. So lots of opportunities. There are lots of people hurting out there. And if we open our eyes, we can see and meet the needs that we can.
Not just get closed off. So we're very different, but we do help people
in
different ways. And I have that same giving heart. We came from our family. I love making women feel empowered and beautiful because I'm single. And I was a single mom. I had my son at 18. Out of wedlock by my grandfather's a pastor. He raised us helped my mom raise us when when my dad died. And so we grew up in the very much a church atmosphere. And, me and my sister took different paths. And I am very proud. I have a great son. I'm, not bashing it, but it was definitely hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a different look on helping others. And there's something to say about being when I started my business, I felt empowered for myself, which I kind of couldn't feel that. I needed to find my place. I bartended. That's kind of rough. So my sister's seen that journey, and she's always been there, no matter what idea. Like remember when they were doing the ice bucket challenge, and I was like, everyone's just posting pictures, pouring ice on their head. No one's giving. I'm going to just post that I'm giving money. So we did this ridiculous photo, which is a little risque. And my sister is very conservative. So I was like, I can't even believe that she's helping me with this. But she did. So she's actually really artistic. She paints. She's really good at graphics, and she's always understood my vision. So when she was here, I would just go to her house and be like, help me. Because you really are good at graphics and design. And she's, like I said, she paints. All of her kids' rooms look so cute on a budget. Like you're really good at going a long way with a small budget. And so we could not be more opposite. We could not be more opposite, but we love each other. And she's the person I call to vent and to tell my struggles. And it's just kind of so crazy. Like I have the entrepreneurial spirit, but my sister has the same thing. She just uses it for missions and for she has her own little homeschool group. Mm-hmm. And you really have to have that entrepreneurial mind to do what you and John are doing at Target Dayton, because you have to be creative and think how to get people in and how to raise the money. Nonprofits, I think, takes a whole different entrepreneur level.
Nonprofit is a lot different.
Yes.
Same, but this may be, your business, but it's something you're passionate about. And so you pour your heart into it. And you can tell that I know every single client that she has, she treats that person as if they are family, and she wants them to feel good when they leave. It's not just a spray tan to her. She wants to build
take it very seriously, which comes from we have a very giving, caring family. Mm-hmm. And I think, growing up in the church, and, Joy went her own way with her church and her spirituality. Me I don't always feel I fit in at Papa and Granny Church. I go there because I love my Papa, and I dearly, he's my favorite person in the world. But, I have my own spiritual journey. God is my higher power. That's who I believe in. That's who I still pray to. I just don't go to Papa's church anymore. So my sister found her path. I was really proud of her. And I think when her and John chose their path with where they went when they went to Ohio, they really felt kind of boxed in here, right? In Savannah, like you guys wanted to do more.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was like an eye-opener to me that I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I have my own spiritual path, and I struggled with it at times too, but my sister's who I always call, and she, with an open heart and an open mind, she'll listen to every question, every struggle, every whatever I have, and we can work through it. Sometimes with me, I'm very emotional with screaming, crying, tears. So I love her so much. So she has 5 boys. Let's name all the boys. And then we recently had Elizabeth. We finally have a girl. We have tons of boys in our family. So
yes.
So let's name all of them.
So there's Curtis. He's 13. Silas is 11. James is about to turn 9. Matthew he just turned 5.
He's the sweetest.
He is really sweet.
He kind of reminds me of Gavin. Gavin's my son.
Luke is 2.5, and Elizabeth is almost 6 months.
So if you don't think that you can handle running a company, I look at my sister like I cannot handle what she does on a daily basis. Like sometimes I get so overwhelmed with Beettan, and I'm like, my sister is raising 6 kids, running a nonprofit, is a wonderful wife. Their house is clean. Their house is clean. I know their toys and like lots of laundry at times, but their house is like so clean. I was so proud of her. So clean, so cute. They do such a good.
I train my little minions.
Yeah, and they have a really good system, and those kids they each have like the funnest personality. Being in Ohio was so much fun. It was short-lived, but I left with a full heart for sure.
Yeah.
So let's tell some sister stories. If we went back to our younger years, I felt like I would have never thought you would be a mom of 6 kids.
Oh, me neither, for sure.
Like she was like the tomboy, the wilder spirit. Like you really had she marched to the beat of her own drum.
Yes.
Like she dressed different. I was like the more trending, what's in, not my sister. Homegirl wore a Jordan jersey, and what made no sense because we didn't even have a dad. So there was like no strong male influence. So the fact that my sister like loved boy clothes was like, what is happening? Like why she wore that Jordan jersey every day. What age was that? Middle school?
Oh,
or
that was about elementary school.
So funny.
I loved sports, and I think most of my friends were boys. I went fishing, hunting. I got a go-kart for Christmas because that's what I wanted. And Shelly got porcelain dolls. And so
I didn't like those. Mom thought I did. They were scary.
But you did. You liked the pretty stuff.
I did. I was the frilly one, and my sister Joy was definitely.
You loved to dress up. You would dress me up
all the time.
Do my makeup and do my hair. And I did not care for the longest time, but every young girl, I think, goes through, different phases. And so that was the phase that I went through. But when I look back and I think, oh, well, I appreciate the time and effort that you poured into me when I was being stubborn and didn't want to participate. And you said, no,
especially when you wore those Jinkos. Nothing against anyone who got into it, but my sister would like have her bangs in her eyes. She's so beautiful. And she like had these bangs in her eyes, and she just like kind of like went through that awkward, like depressed teen years. Yeah. And I was like, get your hair out your face. You're pretty. Take those baggy jeans. Remember? I
think every young girl needs that person in their life that's like, I see this in you. Let me help you see it too. And I think until I got that confidence, that I really think you're a huge part in building in me. I may not have gotten married and had 6 kids if you hadn't have been.
Oh, that's good to know.
Helping
I felt like I was hard on you.
It'd
be like, put pink on. Do this. But then there went through phases.
You were never mean about it. You were very.
I feel like I was.
Well, I don't think you were. You were very supportive. I think you see people and you see where they're at and you see what they can be. And that's, you say that I'm creative, but that's a different kind of creative where you see things in people and what they can be.
I really do have this weird passion for like wanting people to thrive and feel good.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the expense of myself. But I do really have a passion, and I don't know where it comes from, but I think maybe it all stems from being a big sister.
It might be.
And, we had some struggles with our dad passing, and, our mom definitely had struggles. We lost our dad tragically in a car accident. My mom was pregnant with Joy, so Joy never got to meet our dad. I barely remember him because I was 3.5. I mean, I don't even know if my memories are real or like people telling me stuff about him. It's kind of hard to decipher.
Yeah.
So we had we had some trouble, some struggles for sure.
We have a little brother that came 9 years later. He's
from
awesome.
A stepdad, who was very difficult at times, but he's great to Hunter now. But I think, there were some struggles there with us accepting any man that walked, especially me, buddy, any man that walked in. I was like, what's your name? Who you with? Goodbye. I was like, not parent trap. Like I was the conniving one that would like do things to make them go away. You don't remember that?
No.
Mom does.
We'll have to have mom in my own world.
Shoot.
That was crazy.
But we have some fun memories. So I was like a yard sale queen. Because our mom was a single mom, there was some financial struggles, and
entrepreneurship came early for Michelle.
I had yard sales. I made her, she was the cute one, so I made her stand on the corner and do the, we had a house that was on the corner of
stand.
We had a lemonade stand.
Yard sales. We sold watermelons.
I forgot about the watermelons.
Oh, we made money on some watermelons, y'all. That's business in the South.
We did. So our little brothers, his dad's side of the family, they had, isn't that where we got them?
Yes.
I'm so glad you remembered that.
Yeah. We had the biggest watermelon in Pembroke.
Oh my gosh.
We were on the newspaper.
How do I not remember that?
That was fun.
I remember that song. If you drink, don't drive, do
the watermelon crawl.
Oh my gosh. So completely, so that was like middle school age for me. So it was elementary school age for you. So I guess that was our first joint venture was a watermelon sale. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then I do remember that now because Mom has a picture of us somewhere with Hunter, me, you, a watermelon, and Hunter. Yeah. That's so funny.
I used to sell candy bars in school. I was known as the candy girl.
I bet you were.
I was raising money for a mission trip.
She's, again, we're different, but always like, I mean, we have it in us. And I can call her if I need like something. She's so creative. I'll get creatively stuck as far as like, I can see it in my head. And then like, I need the right words or the right graphics or the right picture or the right song and she can always pump it out. My mom's here too. She's watching the baby and she was telling the story of like when we lived in Guyton, Georgia. We lived at a very busy red light, which is now the house has been moved in as a gas station, Parker's gas station. But we had yard sales there because it was a very busy street. And anytime I wanted something, I would tell you, I put my mind to it and I would talk you into it till Mama couldn't say no. And Joy sold lemonade and she was cute. So because if I put the cute one on the corner, I'm telling y'all, she was so cute. My nephew James reminds me of her. So I put her there, and then I would be the salesperson, but I sold our dining room chairs.
That we weren't supposed to sell.
Yeah. Mom had taken the leaf out the table, and I sold the extras. I just remember getting in so much trouble for that. I remember I sold a comforter, and I remember like really liking how much money I made. But after I got in trouble, I was on restriction from yard selling. So funny. And then one time you said, and I've always had this dream of being in a commercial, on a commercial, or an infomercial, or like a radio commercial.
Mercashals.
Remember, when I was a baby, I called them Mercashals. I'd be like, Mom, tell me when the Mercashals
Kids don't know what commercials are anymore.
No, it's different now.
Just watch streaming.
Just Facebook ads. But yeah, I loved commercials, and she would always be gung ho for whatever game I had. Like, remember?
Do you remember the radio game?
That's what I wanted you to talk about because I can barely remember it. But it's funny. She has a better memory of it. So apparently I made up the rules.
Well,
but I can hardly remember.
The rules were, so we would have, when people had boom boxes that you pressed actual buttons.
Karaoke machine.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So we would set that up. It would just be us though. We wouldn't actually turn it on. And then, so she loved to sing. And so she'd be singing a song.
I am not a good singer, FYI. I can do mean karaoke, but
she'll sing Strawberry Wine later. So
I will not.
We would change.
God, no one will ever get on this podcast again.
We would push the button. If she was singing, I would push the button and she would have to stop immediately. And then I would either sing something or say something. But I usually did a commercial and I'd be like, hey, get some Coca-Cola today. And then she would press the button and she would start saying something else.
So it's like we changed the radio station.
But we made each other stop in the middle of that was the game.
And that was the game. How about that?
We're so cool.
I bet we could make a board game out of it or something.
We probably could.
That's so funny. I do like commercials. I still do. I still like watch QVC. HSN. I like to see someone on there who's like made something or created something and then selling it. And that's where this like social media thing kind of, which is why I'm doing a podcast, kind of gets lost because I miss that like watching someone and hearing the maker.
It's fun.
And I hope that like Facebook ads like go away unless they make it personal. Because it's not as fun.
Yeah.
It's not as fun to me anyway. Even though like some of, there's some weird brands out there that don't really know where they went with it. But, I hear Elizabeth.
I think there was so much uncertainty in our life. So much, we didn't have like this foundational all-American life. And so
but we were surrounded by it. Like we were surrounded by, because we were in a very conservative church, we were surrounded by the mom, the dad, the kids, go to church every day. Everyone, like we were surrounded by the picket fence families.
We found ways to make our world fun and make it work.
We definitely did. We have some, remember so we lived in a house that was by the ponds. Remember the ponds had alligators in them and we would still swim? My sister liked fishing. Oh my gosh, the fishing story. She liked fishing.
I don't like the fishing story.
Well, which one do you remember?
Grudge.
When I caught the big fish.
When I fished for hours and you walked out there with a slice of ham and caught a bass in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know what you had.
And then they made me hold it and I was crying and she was mad in the background because she had been trying to catch a fish. Y'all, it was a 6-pound bass.
It was huge.
It was it's so funny. The picture of me, I'm like bawling and I have like a 1996 Olympic shirt on, like bawling, and they made me hold this fish I did not want to hold.
I'm in the background with my Bugle Boy shorts on and a backwards hat.
So mad.
Pouting.
So mad. But yeah, I really wanted to have my sister on here because she, is my inspiration for my company. She's been my inspiration for many things since I was a kid. And I mean, since I was born, I guess. I think us growing, losing a dad, I remember always feeling like bad that she never met our dad. Like even though I didn't really remember him, I always felt like really sad that she came after Dad died January 17th or 18th, and you were born February 12th. Mm-hmm. So can you imagine like what our mother went through? I wish our mom was in here because she's such a strong woman, but she worked her butt off. Yes. And I think we saw that, and that's where we have the work ethic, but we also have the love of the community that hugged us after our dad died. Yes. And we've carried that love, and we've never really been really resentful. I've never been like, I don't have a dad. Like I never had that because I think we had so much love. We had our Aunt Kendra who's had this biggest heart.
Huge supporter.
Huge support. Biggest heart you could ever imagine of anyone. Talk about somebody who gives her life to loving and caring and supporting. Like she is just like Jesus. Like her life is like giving and serving, and we grew up around that and watching that. But at the same time, we grew up watching a mom who works her butt off. I mean, 2 and 3 jobs at a time sometimes.
Our uncle started a business too, and that was
barbecue and trailer parks.
Yes. He had a barbecue business for years.
But we both worked for him at different times.
For us too. Like,
he's the first person to have their own business.
And he was supportive too. He was always there for us. So we definitely have a family that loves and supports no matter, what we're going through. And so I think that has a huge part. When you first started Beettan and you launched this, you're like, I'm going to do my own thing, you guys. And we were like, Beettan, what? And you're like, because the formula that we decided on, they get the color from the sugar from the beets. And so
it's like, let's just tell it like it is.
And I really like beets.
Yeah,
she's the only one in our family that eats.
Granny makes those Harvard beets, and they are so good. I don't know what they are, but it's like, it sounds gross, but it's like beet jelly. I don't know. It's so gross looking, but it tastes amazing.
Yeah, I guess our grandparents eat it, but it was really cool. We just wanted to help in any way that we could. And so
yes. And here we are, 39, 35 years old, still helping each other. It's just, she was my first guest because she's been my inspiration in life. I know I keep saying that, but she really has been. But your sister, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but my sibling is my best friend, and I want to know what she thinks. I want her approval. I love watching her grow as a person. I love watching her have all these kids because I don't have to. I was one and done. But it's just so crazy. Two people in a household who grew up together, who went completely different directions, but can still find a common ground and love and support the other and work hard in completely different ways. And as here I am, like on this podcast, she's supporting it. She's my very first guest. Yay. What can you give a female, most of our listeners are female. Listeners. I have a lot of already followers like on social media platforms, and because I have a beauty business, most of where I'm going with this is it's to get to attract females. Right. So what advice could you give them? Like as a mom, I think my sister's super mom. You can hear Elizabeth in the background who wants her super mom. Yes. But what advice would you give like as a mom who's also trying to work? Because even though my sister is a stay-at-home mom, she runs an entire nonprofit. And she also runs a homeschool group. And that in itself is so much work. I feel like even nonprofits are equally as much work as like a beauty company. So what advice can you give on like the juggle of parenting, wifing, businessing?
Well, there's definitely an aspect. John does most of the work with Target Dayton Ministries. And so a lot of my way of being involved in that ministry right now in the season that I'm in is supporting him in any way that I can. And so I try to, I pray for him regularly. I try to be there for him. I try to, make sure that I'm supporting him as best I can. And then I'm able to go down there and help and be a part of what's going on as much as possible when I have childcare for the younger ones. But I think really just being open to what the Lord is calling me to do. I never thought that I would lead a homeschool community, but I found myself loving that community myself.
She's really good and enjoys it. I could never do homeschool. So I'm telling you, she's
homeschooling
good.
is very difficult. But these are little humans that you're molding. And so it's a very important job.
Right.
It's very much needed right now. We need moms and families willing to pour into these kids because it's just not happening in the school system. And so...
And there are certain areas where it's really not happening. And
in our areas,
where
it's pretty low income. The schools aren't funded like they should be. They don't have the teachers that they need. And so, but really, I just wanted to be a part of what was going on in my kids' lives.
Yeah.
And I think I just became passionate about that and wanting to raise them up to be entrepreneurs, raise them up to be whatever they want to be, and also being a part of that. Otherwise, I felt like I was going to miss it all.
Right.
So I think when you put that in perspective, it makes all the little things easier, the day-to-day easier, because I have that big picture, that goal of doing life with them. And I don't really teach them everything as much as I learn everything alongside them. And it really takes the pressure off. So,
I can totally see that, especially like with the older ones now. I bet you're learning. Because we were thrown into the public school system ourselves. Yeah. There were times where so I can see where that passion towards your where that comes from, because we depended so much on the school system. So sometimes homeschool gets some hate, but I've watched my sister do it the right way, do a really good job of it. And those boys are soaring through it and are so smart. And what's really cool is if they're struggling, she can pay more attention to that struggle because it's just her and her own child. And they still are part of a community. So I think sometimes people think there's no, it's just like control of your child, but that's not actually what it is. And I have seen a beautiful side of it and a very, a really productive, progressive side of the homeschool system through my sister.
It's come a long way, yeah.
It's come a very long way. I remember Gavin had a teacher in first grade who I really didn't like the way she was treating him. She was singling him out. She recommended he get on ADHD, but he's never, nothing against any medicine or anything like that, but I just felt like that wasn't for my child. Yeah. And so I pulled him out and homeschooled him for the rest of the year. And then, he just, and I think, his dad, there was just some issues with being his dad. So I think he was just acting out because he's a kid. Yeah. And I did, and my Aunt Kendra helped me, just finish the schooling. Even though I worked, we worked it out. And it was the best thing ever for him, because I think if he'd have stayed in that, he'd have had some self-confidence issues or some self-esteem issues because he was singled out. So I am so happy that I had the family to do that. Not everyone has the means to do that, but I think just paying a little extra close attention to what's going on at the school system. But we come from a mom who worked a lot. So sometimes we had to pick up the slack ourselves, and it doesn't matter. You'll still be okay. You can come from the public school system and own a company. I'm living proof of that.
I encourage moms all the time that if you can, do it though, because it's worth it.
Yes,
it's definitely worth it. And I couldn't do it without the community. I'm finding that there are a lot of moms who do want to homeschool and they don't know how to, and they need other moms to come alongside them. And I was that mom at some point, and it's kind of cool to move into the
leadership.
It's weird because that means I have a 13-year-old, and I don't feel like I'm old enough to have a 13-year-old, but it's nice to move into that and say, okay, I was there once. I can help you get there. You're going to be able to do it, I promise. And so that's being a part of the community, and then being on the receiving end and now turning around being on the giving end of that has been a really neat transition for me in the past few years. It's really nice to come alongside these other moms. And I do tell anyone who's interested in homeschooling to find a community. Find a community, because
I think everyone should find a community for whatever you're passionate about. Recently, I talked to Emily Bardra and Mary Liz. They're also being on the podcast. They're scheduled to be on the podcast as well. I found a community of entrepreneurs who are positive and empower. They're all about empowering. There wasn't cattiness. There was a time. Remember when I first started my spray tan business? There was some cattiness with the franchise owner. It was just it was rough, and I didn't felt like I had a place. I felt like I was always wrong. They were always right. I couldn't do it. So I think anytime you're passionate about something, finding that community and really just give what you want to get. Like I practice that every day. We in our family have this very impulsive temper that we have carried down through, and I have to wake up every day and say a prayer and talk to myself and write in my journal and I have to decide that my emotions and my temper are not going to get the best of me, because as a leader now of 140 some odd spray tan locations, I need to step it up and be calm and patient and kind, which goes right back to the things I learned as a kid in the church, so it's we all need that community. We need that kindness. We need that patience. We need that I need calmness. I think having a single mom,
Jesus for sure.
we need that, we need that time to calm down and breathe, and that peace of mind and that peace of heart, and a community, finding the community that fits you. Like I said, we all grew up under the same church, but we kind of went different routes. I do more non-denominational. I do my spiritual relationship with God a different way, but it all stems from the same love that I received as a kid that I go back to every single time. And I think what we can take away from today's podcast with my most amazing sister is community is key. And no matter where you're at in life, whether you're a mom, single mom, a mom. Now my son's 21 years old, so I'm just now figuring out how to be
mom of an adult.
well, without him there, granted, I still today I helped him with something with his car. It's still there, but he's becoming more and more independent. And I'm still nursing a baby, I'm starting podcasts and trying to get busy, stay busy, because I, did it. He doesn't need me as much now,
right?
Which is actually not true. He needs me just in a different way. So I'm maneuvering through that. So, that's what this podcast is about. There's no better person to start with my sister, because we live completely different lives. But we always unite on the same ground, and we love and care about others, and we want to make people feel good. We've always wanted that, to the core of who we are. It's who we are as a family. It's who we are as people. And I think I can end it on that. We want everyone to feel good out there. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for my favorite guest I'll probably ever have, my sister, on here. And if you'd like to give to the ministry that her and her husband work for and support and pour their lives and hearts into, it's Target Dayton and
TargetDaytonMinistries.com. Yes. And so that's where you can go if you want to support us in financial means. We are on there. You can support us directly or the ministry.
Baby needs her.
Baby needs me. Thank you for having me, Michelle. I'm a huge supporter of you, obviously. I love you very, very much. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share with everyone our love of helping others. And I hope that everyone checks out Beettan as well.
Yeah, check it out.